Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Erothian Unofficial Spoiler Cast. I am Van Texel, and here with me always is.
Slinshair Steve here, people, and welcome to our third recap for the week. Third weekly
Yeah,
recap since we started.
it's been great. So thank you very much for your support, everyone.
And just a heads up, there was no Throne Keeper this week, so we don't have anything to talk about Throne Keeper this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, no episode, but we do hope that everyone is safe and doing well. We will begin, I guess, where we always begin, Regicide.
Yeah, Regicide. So we have Ophius back in time with the mole, or we have Yondis going for a time road trip.
This was a super cool episode, dude. It was so much lore. Oh man, I enjoyed
So
it
much
so much.
background stuff. And poor,
And the
poor
RP
Tyler.
was on point.
Poor
Yeah.
Tyler just didn't know what the hell was going on for this one.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel the way he RP'd because he didn't know what was going on was just on point, dude. It was like he answered the questions and was like, "What the hell are you asking me this for?"
Poor fellow didn't understand what was going on. Oh well.
Oh man, it was super good. So at the end of the episode, Daelric was asking how many people might have noticed that the metal door that he was describing was intact. I did notice it, but I didn't really pick up on that it may be the past. Well, let me not say that. I didn't pick up that it may be that far back into the past
Yeah,
until he started
it's
describing the elemental.
yeah. The elemental is a good giveaway for how far back in the past it was.
Oh,
I mean, the
definitely.
door could have been fine like a couple of weeks before he busted it down, so that
Yeah.
it really didn't narrow it down. But well, that was that far back. Oh,
Man, and there's so many like interesting things in this episode, which uh, because we did the recap, like because we did the Kingmaker main series recap, I actually forgot to point this out because he pointed it out in episode 2. But the Mo aren't actually that in tune with magic. Like they do use magic and like magical rituals and stuff, according to Delric. But he was saying that they don't have like super powerful casters or super mage caster, like super powerful sorcerers and clerics and that kind of thing. They
there
use
was
magic.
there was definitely
Yeah.
that they had a lot of elemental magics and stuff in there as well in your
Oh
recap.
yeah. And so I actually have here in my notes like it's kind of a question, but it's a discussion question. Are they using the power of the moats? And the reason I ask is only because of what she did to the fire elemental to heal her partner. So I think they're using the power of the moats as a conduit to be able to wield magic
Yeah,
that kind of way.
yeah. I mean, they knew about them. That much we know because a couple of the moats have had mole ruins built over them. So
I wonder if Kingmaker can access this kind of power, or because it's kind
now
of
they've got a
akin to
sill,
like
they probably could.
druid stuff, right?
It's they're
Yeah.
probably close to druid stuff. Yeah, because it's more in communication with the moats, with the elements, with the planes in that area, sort of thing.
That was very interesting because even the understanding language and comprehending languages, speaking different languages, I think it's called tongues and D&D or whatever. But
I think it's also comprehend
all that
languages
was
in there
done with,
too.
yeah, all of that was done with like wind magic, and that's insane. That's like
Nice way to
insane, dude.
flavor it. Nice way to flavor it.
Mm,
Because I don't think the language would have existed by then, but oh well.
yeah,
And just how
but also
languages develop.
they both were using elements like that traditionally in other fantasy. I'm not sure how it is in D&D and Pathfinder, but other fantasy settings, earth and air, fire and water are complete opposites. So they were using like magic elements that were complete opposites to each other. I thought that was a little bit weird, but it was kind of cool.
It kind of makes sense that it hasn't really been set as an opposition thing, really, with this one.
Mm.
I mean, if there were actual wizards, there'd be oppositions, but we don't even know if they're actual wizards yet.
Yeah.
Because if it's a druid, they can use all of them practically, but if there's a wizard in Pathfinder, there's opposition skills that you have. So that's like
Yeah.
you choose one class, or you choose one school, and you have to knock out two or one, depending on whether you're elemental or arcane.
Hmm. I was just trying to say like traditionally those kind of elements cancel each other out. Like Earth would cancel out the wind, that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
it's so to me, it was just really interesting to see those kind of techniques.
Oh, jeez. So you got caught in a fire trap.
Oh man, it's a very intelligent spell also because he tried to get out of it and it still followed him. I wonder what spell is. Do you know what spell that is that she was using or?
No, I don't. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with individual spells
Okay.
and that sort of thing. So
Another point, they may just be very in tune with their elemental spirits, the way that uh, I think he described it in Kingmaker how um, one is close to the salt plane and Raven's close to the darkness plane, and those kind of things.
one's close to the salt plane.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but that's the obvious joke to take with that.
Oh man, I was just wondering if they are in tune with their planes of origin, or more in tune with their planes of origin than
It's definitely a possibility, and
yeah.
unfortunately, Ophius escaped, so we didn't get a chance to find out. But oh
Well, he escaped because of Snaga,
well.
which was both in and out of game. But but, but that was really cool to see see that Snaga was a salamander. I had to look up Pathfinder salamanders look like if you have a hard time imagining it. Just look up a Pathfinder salamander on Google. Yeah, it's
So
basically what he described.
there's talk of the Mole Emperor
Yeah,
having the only other Snaga statue, so everyone thought that he must have come from the Emperor.
yeah. So I actually didn't expect the Empire to cover that far into
I
Vala
think it
and
was said that it covered most of Eroth at one point, so
okay.
we're probably still in a not in a collapsing point of time. Like we're still I couldn't even say whether or not they're in a golden age or anything like that still or anything like that, but they're definitely still have the Vala and um, the Deer parts at that
And
point.
apparently that's what probably the Empire's capital was in Vala. So that makes it really interesting.
Well,
Unless
the
there's a
Emperor's
third
palace,
statue
and
somewhere.
depending on the culture, there can be multiple palaces. So we don't we can't really say that.
Well, they did say the seat of the Emperor, right?
Caesar the Emperor. Yeah, they did say that. So they, yeah, that could be the capital. It's just like I say, it could be any palace practically. Though.
Another good point. I'm really interested in what Snaga was before he became a deity, because these two were looking at him like this dude just asked us if we worship Snaga. Why would we worship Snaga? Like, does he not know what Snaga is? So I'm really interested in, and he was also called a creation of the creation.
Yeah,
Yeah. What'd you say?
there's a PDF on Patreon which goes into it a bit more.
Okay.
And I think it was the Faiths one, the one that brought up. You got talking about all the outer plane gods and inner plane gods, whatever. Not outer plane ones. It's the inner plane ones, the elemental ones. And there's mention in
Oh yeah. Snaga is in there, isn't he?
yeah.
Okay. Um, and he was also called. Ophios was called a creation of the created after he said that he was of Snaga.
Mm.
Um, you know, so Snaga
Yeah,
was
and
created apparently.
so we'll not to go into more
But if that's
detail
the
on that
case,
one
yeah,
because if
if
you
that's the case, though, why is there like monuments to this dude who was just created by the emperor?
if only we could find out, eh?
I mean, I'm just asking. Really, I don't expect you to have the answers. I'm just like
No,
putting this
no.
out
When I
for
said
the
that, I did
discussion.
not mean like I can't talk about it. I'm just meant like if only Fierce hadn't escaped.
Man, I have so
But
many questions for this
in a way, he didn't escape because he got his blood.
episode. Yeah, I can't
I
wait to
called
see
him
the
in
rating.
chat when I realized he went back in time. I'm like, oh no, it's going to be his own great grandfather. Freaking joke all over again. Except that
Oh
considering
man.
how short they live and that sort of thing, there's a lot more greats in between it.
Yeah. Yep. Man, I really can't wait to see the ramifications of that one.
Yeah.
Oh man, there were so many good parts in this episode.
Yeah. I dare say that you could probably keep going with how many greats between his and grandfather for the entirety of
Yeah.
the podcast, and that's probably not even how close it is.
Oh man. Yeah, the mole do appear a lot in this episode. I mean, I'm sorry, this week's episodes. Yeah,
Yeah,
the mole empire shows up a lot. Actually, now that I'm thinking about
it'd be so much fun if they came back.
it. um,
Considering as how everything's going with time, it would be so much fun.
yeah, I mean, with Ophios ending up
He
in
was
the
caught.
present.
He was before he got back in the prison. He was caught between two earth walls and stuck in a water bubble, which Snyder got him out of. So, and then Snugger directly told him, "You do not belong here now. Go back to the statue." And then he tried to make them. And then he tried to ask his god to do something for him. And God's already doing what he can for him.
You know, that was the best part when Daelric turned to the camera and was like, "Who the hell asks a request of a god already saving them?" Oh man. But yeah, he appears back in what we assume to be the present, or as close as possible, but he doesn't. We don't get to see much more than that, and I'm curious if this is still a little bit before that time in the bank.
We'll find out next episode. But one thing to
Yeah.
bring up is that so every time he turns into a snake, he loses his clothes.
Yes.
He just walked through the statue again without his clothes.
Yep. So if he's in the present, he's gonna walk by a bunch of orcs naked, and he has nothing. He already
Probably
has
a
like
snake,
I think
and they might
14.
decide they want to eat it.
Oh man. Well, if this is like a little bit further back in the past, who
Maybe
knows,
they won't
man?
be
Maybe.
there, and maybe it'll just be ordinary people who see a snake and go, "Oh shit, it's a snake!" Ah!
Yeah. Before the orcs come. Oh man.
At least if that happens, it'll be before the undead turn up,
Mm.
which might also be a bad thing because you still have to deal with the undead.
So after Orpheus escapes, we get to see my boy Yondis return.
So he escaped the gibbering mouther. I'm glad I don't have
Yep.
I'm glad I don't have voice effects or anything like that because I'm not going to repeat that.
Yeah, that was the 10 seconds on my rewatch that I just skipped.
It's just fun watching chat when it happens. But
Yep. It's so good. Oh man. I mean, he captures what the brain effects would be, because after like 3 seconds, you're like, God, please stop.
yeah,
Oh man. Um. So we see Yondis go back to how's it pronounced? Osto.
yeah, Osto is
Osto, right?
getting the trick back to Osto. Yeah,
I think Yondis feels like
he already said he felt like he was a failure in other parts of the stream.
I was gonna say, I think at this point, Yondis feels that like kind of like the chains of relationships have been released, because he has nobody else around him, and rather than, because he still had, and I know this comes up later in this episode, but I'm just like talking about the very beginning of the episode. He still has his mission where he needs to find this family jewel, but the very first thing he does is like go home, and I can understand that feeling. It's kind of like everything I did, I failed at. So the reason I say that the chains of relationships have been released is like throughout Giannis's time, whatever group he was with, he would just kind of go with the flow. And even though he would make remarks about what they were doing and complain about having to do extra stuff, he would still do it. You know,
Yeah,
when they were fighting the Gibbling Mauler, it was like, I don't want to fight this thing, but since you guys are fighting this thing, I'll help fight this thing until you guys are dead, so I'm running away.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just kind of how I feel.
Don't really know what else to say to that one, but
But and I think going home is for him may have just been like a need to like find himself again, maybe, or find out who he was. And that this is all just, of course, my speculation, my opinion about the whole thing. I'm not messy, so I don't know what Giannis's thought process is.
hey, well, that's kind of why we're doing this, right?
Yeah.
For us, it's just another chain that he felt like he needed to get rid of. Just, like, yeah, I think that that could have been another chain that he was working on, maybe potentially as well. Otherwise, I don't really know that much in the way of his mindset and that sort of thing. But we do know that he went into a cave and experienced
Yes.
three seasons in a day. So he almost experienced what it's like to be in New Zealand.
Is it like
He's
that?
just missing. He's just missing the fourth season.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And we're renowned for having 4 seasons in one day, as a saying for the weather we have here. So
Oh man. Yeah, so
yeah.
I guess he was rapidly going back and forth through time during that journey, which is just absolutely insane. Maybe he aged a couple of years because of it. Oh man.
Probably, but I mean, we did get to see what the parent were like before they freed themselves.
Yeah, man, that was
First thing they thought of when they saw him walking free was that he must have been a gladiator,
yep.
which tells you some things about the society.
Yes. Now, also, the slave was asking about the Vinay and the martyr's actual name, Felusi, at that
Vinay
point.
being the name that the parent gave her, and Felusi being the one that the mole gave her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So she was like, did that person send you? And he was like, what? What are you talking about?
I mean,
Man, it was good to see
that's happened out of nowhere, and he's been with Rogo Orcs for the entire time.
that. And you can see
So
like
probably no. But it will be interesting to see the after effects of giving someone 2 gold, especially. I mean, well, this is coming from someone who joined into a group where their funniest freaking saying was 2 gold because someone used it as like a mafia hit freaking.
I wanted to ask you guys about that. I seen it in chat and I was like, what the hell are they talking about?
I know the story, but I wasn't there for that one.
Okay.
The story was essentially that someone had the mafia in their brain, and so someone said that they asked someone for information and promised them 2 gold, and so when they got the information, he said, "Okay, give them this 2 gold," and so the guy killed him.
Oh, okay. Now I understand the curse of 2 gold.
Yes, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that poor woman. All she wanted to do was help.
It would just be interesting if that ends up becoming technically, according to the timelines, the precursor for all that.
Oh man. Um yeah, this was an amazing chance to look back up to this point anyway. It was an amazing chance to get back to see how the Mole Empire operated before the Perrin took over most of Eroth, which is to me was just very interesting because you get to see that dynamic of the Mole on top, and even though there seemed to be a lot of Perrin, especially in that town in Adir that Elijah was in, he said there was a bunch of Perrin slaves and only a few Mole. Of course, we probably just didn't see as many because
I mean, it also kind of makes sense with how the mole operated. It obviously was a weak point that the parent could exploit.
right.
If you outnumber them, that's always going to be a big advantage to have in your corner.
I'm wondering if they are kind of a mirror of the real world Roman Empire, the mole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's definitely hints to that. There's probably other things in there too, but there's definitely hints to that.
Yeah. So I mean, we could see how they fell at that point. Then the travel was even though he was going back and forth in time, Yandis really didn't know and couldn't tell the difference because he's Yandis, he's not Elijah. So,
Yeah. Unfortunately, not the most observant.
and his roles didn't help at all.
Oh yeah, no, the rolling in freaking Ridgeside this week was terrible. I think there was like one net 20, and I think Yonder's got it.
Yeah, yeah.
There were so many netty ones on both sides.
I felt bad. I think, oh man, they kept being afraid to use luck, and people just kept pouring luck in chat, and they were like, "Dude, use the luck."
I mean, they were always skirting the edge of being only on one or none left in the pool, so
Mhm.
kind of can understand that.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
they can't really be focusing on all the luck coming in. We also had Yundus eventually returned to Osto. Um, Funny timing with that one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The day he left.
the exact same day he left is the day he returned.
Just
Actually, on funny, Delbert pointed that fact out twice. He was saying like, it's exactly like the day he left it. I think he said it twice, and then Unfunny was trying to point it out in chat to people who maybe didn't get it. He was like, pay attention to the wording.
there was that, and there was also was it Butler person that was telling him, no, he's just left this as a silly joke, stop being.
Yeah.
You look like you're one of those crazy homeless people they got door.
The butler Tyler. Tyler is so mad at
Tyler Brady.
that. Oh man, Tyler was so angry.
Well, he really needs a Barbara or Trini in here, and then just introduce them just as Wade turns up to all
um, man, Yandis's dad is badass for two reasons. I guess the first one being he always carries a wand of disintegration in his freaking robe.
Yeah,
For
I
anyone who,
mean, yeah, he's a noble family that focuses on magical items, so kind of makes sense that they did that. He'd have a couple of choice, an assortment of choice items on his
Mhm.
person.
I mean, but disintegration's a little much, dude. You could have like a magic missile or something. Disintegration, you can destroy that person when you hit them.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, a choice assortment of magical items. With great power comes great loot.
That's so true. So at this point, Giannis is basically running around the house and hiding and slipping by. It was cool to learn some of his tactics. One of the ways that he was proving to his dad that he was Yandis. I mean, later on we found out that that was a bad idea, but it was in the moment it was very cool to see Messi take the RP narrative there and do as much with Yandis as he was allowed to do. Well, no, I think he could have Delric could have let him get away with a few more things, but you know that was a very cool chase scene.
I managed to get one of the guards out on the roof. Managed to get another guard to stab into the bed, which I'm sure that's coming out of the paycheck for that guard. It's a noble's house, and you're destroying the furniture. It's coming out of your paycheck.
That's true. And then we run into some more juicy role play, some more juicy lore. Basically, the entire campaign, which is Yondas running into his mom and his tutor.
Yeah, and getting the tutor basically screwed over majorly.
Yes.
She's just doing her job. Jeez.
I don't know about that.
What can we say? She was very diligent in her work.
You know what? I'm not going to say anything because I am a Rayrin apologist, and we will get into it. But Rayrin is making it hard to even have that title. Oh man! So at this point, we find out that both of them are talking in the same room, his mom's art gallery. At this point, Yandis is like, "What the hell? You're supposed to be in Vala," and she's like, "What the hell? You're supposed to be in Vala," and then it's like, yeah. So about that time, you tried to almost kill me. I actually completely forgot that event happened.
I gave you the antidote.
That's true. But I completely forgot about that time until he brought it up, and then I was like, oh, that did happen. Was that in his session zero?
Yes, that was in Session Zero. He'd just gotten into wherever he had to go. I can't remember the town. I can't remember the exact town, but he just gotten there and had a letter to open up, and the letter had the poison in it, and the seal was the antidote.
So they get into a little tough, which I guess wasn't actually going to be a fight, seeing what Marquis was actually reaching for, and Yanda insta wins with using sleep, which is
It's funny because it's like, I'm going to sleep on the guards. Wait, no, the guards appear, and he's like, and
yep.
Scott's like, damn it, I almost made a waste of spell. Wait, she's not pairing? Yes.
Not just waste a spell, give up his position. Yandis and Yandis and his mom have a talk, and Yandis figures out that his mom set up this entire affair just to get the guy to grow up.
I mean, I've played a Metahina character, and it's just like, it's actually relatively tame in comparison
Yeah,
to
I
some of
guess
the things some people have to go through.
he didn't have to do the Metahina. He didn't even have to worry about being the Metahina, right?
Well, he did for a period of
Oh,
time, and then his little brother was born. But it didn't seem, but from the sounds
yeah.
of things, he didn't take it seriously. So they would, like, no, you have to do a Metahina thing anyway.
And then Yandis' mom asks him, "Hey, where's that crystal?" And he's like, "I don't know. She had it." And they're like, "Cool. We need to go find that crystal because that's your dad's crystal, and that's what he's been using to build this entire empire that we all call ours now." You know how we've been lying to you and telling you this is your great granddad's? Nah, your dad did all this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it also adds weight to the whole being a Metahina thing because he's probably had so many children by now that like it's like a case of, yeah, they've all done stuff and you're not doing anything. I've had all these other kids, and all these other kids have probably died on me and that sort of thing.
Yep.
It's like they're a lot more worthy than you. You need to put your head out of your house. There's also the problem of potential inbreeding.
Yes.
From one person being alive that entire time, having
And this guy having so many.
specifically from her saying, "Well, I'm his wife now."
So she does really care about her son, which leads into the point that Yondis was able to convince his dad that he was Yondis, and his dad knew, probably since he mentioned his little brother's name when he was trying to talk his dad into not shooting the disintegration ray at him, and then he did it anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, some families have them.
that's a good one. Oh man. Now it came up in chat that he might have been a loper until we found out that the crystal was the thing keeping him alive. So this dude definitely found this crystal, probably in the time Temple of Doom, right? I mean that's what we all decided.
Could have that could have been a thing we don't know. Where ultimately we don't know its origin.
All right, okay.
But that could definitely be a point. That could definitely be a point where that could have happened.
I'm thinking this dude knew the loper, was talking with the loper, and tossed the loper in and took the time crystal, and that's why.
I can assure you, it wasn't a loper that was in there. There's something more.
Man, man, that's so good. I'm thinking Giannis is
My
dead.
character's on the left of him, so I know these things, but I don't really want to reconcile it. I want to show it.
Oh man, I'm thinking Giannis's dad basically betrayed whoever he was working with, and took that time crystal to live as long as he lived. So man,
That's definitely an option.
yeah.
And if there wasn't anything else, we can go into Kingmaker, where there's also a lot that happened.
Yeah, there is. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention on this. After watching Yandis, I think I kind of understand a little bit more on why I like Raven. Why I'm a little bit of an apologist for Raven. Let me see if I can explain this. So I'm thinking that I like characters with these combative conflicts of character where they do one thing, like knowing it's wrong, but at the time they feel like it may be the only thing they can do for a positive outcome for themselves. And in Rayron's case, those around him or his people. So I think that may be
Yeah,
why I uh, I have a fondness for Yondis. I have a fondness for one Rayron, and now Ophios is emerging as his character
fondness
evolves.
for Yonders. That's choice words.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like the other guys. Like I like like all the PC's characters, and we constantly say that, but I honestly do like them all. I think I feel like that kind of like, hey, he didn't want to do bad. He just, yeah, he did bad, but he really thought he was doing good, I guess. But that's because I think it might just be because I like that those kind of characters who have that conflict of their own character where they're like,
Yeah,
"Ah, I know this is a bad thing to do, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's supposed to have a positive outcome." And their mindset, of course, that's not always the case.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mother souls.
yeah. Let's get into it. Let's see why I can say that Raven was, you know, I can't- Raven's making it real hard now, man.
Yeah. So we opened up with a advisor meeting. So a lot of things we picked up there with the Cthulhu reporting in about
Yep.
what the hell RC managed to do in the freaking bank and that sort of thing, and how people reacted to that. There was also Ravina giving information about Dresden, which they are looking at going and seeing at some point, but
Yeah.
that's probably on the back foot again.
She also hired some people on the side and
um,
gave very little
but
detail, and nobody in Kingmaker even questioned her. They were like, whatever.
yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, everyone else knowing who works for her and that sort of thing as a spy master, yeah, it makes sense that you don't really want everyone else to know properly who you have working for you as a spy master.
Yeah, but I mean, they're kind of the chosen, so it's like somebody should know.
Well, I should know something, but then again, some of them aren't very wise for intelligence at times. So, I mean, you don't know who's going to say too much. It's a fair freaking
Yeah, I can see that.
precaution to take. And then Elliot went and hired a Syl. Yeah, after all the trouble they've been having with the Arcane
Yeah,
Congress, he's had so. I mean, he does have a fair point in that the Syl are probably the ones that are the best at the elemental magics that have been happening around, or that have happened around in the Deer. And if anyone's going to help them understand that properly, it's going to be them. And it's also another way for them to have power outside of the Arcane Congress. But the moment the Arcane Congress shows up and finds out, um, is there going to be three graves or the entire nation's worth?
that was a big that was a big thing that Raven was kind of cautious about, but it was kind of cool to see Valrin,
Ellen,
not
Ellen,
not Valrin. I'm
Ellen.
sorry, Ellen. It was kind of cool to see Ellen take a little bit of the control there and go, hey, we shouldn't deny these guys opportunities because of their rate. Oh, well, that was really Elliot who started it, but with Ellen having a lot more power, he was like, yeah, Rayron, stop being a dick. This guy can't control that, and he's
And
fine.
there's still quite a lot of benefits. There's still quite a lot of benefits if we do take them.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's
I'm just saying it was
it's
cool to
just like
see.
another little freaking argument that happened later on is like it's a major risk with major rewards, or we can take the long slow route.
Yeah.
Two choices of that in this episode, and everyone's talking about the second one. Oh boy,
The chosen did have that talk with Dwayne though. I think that was a big thing because I think Rayrin and Ellen finally got a little bit more information on Rena and her hardships, and it was cool to see somebody like Dwayne be able to talk to them and make them see her not as just this terrorist, but as a human being. Because a lot of
well, Aaron
times
being yes, but
you're right. as a person is what
Yeah.
the word I should be using. But
I mean, Ridgeside totally didn't mess up time or anything, or give them a number of problems with the bank and Hoodwin and that sort of thing.
I
So
mean, they
it's
messed
only fair that Kingmaker be magnanimous and save their asses.
it's not like they messed up time on purpose. That was a total accident. Hopefully.
Having been in that temple, I'm just like, why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Oh, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Oh man. We also get to I guess we don't learn any more about Kudan other than the fact that he never leaves a trail. Ever.
Yes, Dwayne, thank you very much. As the person that loves cursing and trump carding a lot, thank you much for the freebie.
Oh man. But there was definitely some great banter between Dwayne, Ellen, and Rayron in that episode. Valorant keeps almost coming out of my mouth, even when even when I'm trying to talk about Rayron. It's like, yeah, Valorant. It's because we did that episode and I had to rewire my brain.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the time period we could do it at. Ridgeside wasn't out yet, so we had to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no. It was just I'm just saying why I keep almost saying Valorant, even though I mean Rayron and Ellen. It's not because of their characters. I like both Ellen and Rayron. So, but Ellen and Varen had some good punchbacks toward Dwayne. When Valorant pointed out to Rayron, we're both fugitives, dude. We probably should just hate them for being fugitives. That
I
was a good.
mean, that's also Ravina. There's also who else? Because I'm sure there was a bunch of them in their leadership.
Yeah, they're hiring fugitives or they are fugitives. That's what they were saying.
Yeah. Yeah. After Dwayne, we have the Devils,
Yes, we do.
Phaedral. Good old snarky Phaedral.
Let me say this.
I remember putting in chat where it's like a because Green absolutely doesn't like the Devils and that sort of thing, and that's fine. That's his view and
Yeah,
things. And just
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's like yeah, hopefully they don't kill Phaedral because Phaedral 2.0 will be missing out on the in jokes and things like that. So
yeah. That
having to teach them all over again, may as well keep the original.
yeah, I do like Faisal, man. He's nice and sarcastic. Just sarcastic enough to get under Rayron's skin without Rayron
Yeah,
getting mad.
yeah.
Which makes it perfect.
Keeping him on his toes. Give him a competent sparring partner.
Yep. This is the point where I was talking about Rayron making it hard to be an apologist. So selling the 10,000 soul things, it's like at the time, you felt like it was the only option to try to avoid the war and lose even more lives that are actually living and that kind of
And
thing.
also to deal with the massive water pollution problem.
Right. You just offered up this dude's soul.
Yeah, and I had some real fun with that one too. Two trump cards back to back.
Yeah. He was like, yeah,
Yeah, let's give them one's devil axe, which we had Jake and Shat going what, and then yeah, so get rid of. Well, I understand they'll get rid of the soul and that sort of thing, but he's clearly a bad guy, so we may as well do that to him. That sort of thing. And then you had Anno going in chat. What? That's it. Two trump cards, boys.
and he's not even that bad of a guy, man. Yes, he's the villain of Regicide, but he hasn't done that much to be considered the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like he's not evil. You
I
just
can see why they were sensitive to another disease popping up with considering all that they've been through. And having someone that's turned up with a disease as a result of fighting him, I can see why they'd be concerned about that.
yeah.
But that
I
is a
can,
little over the top to destroy us to steal his soul for it.
you offered a devil his soul just to help another group out. That's kind of insane, man.
It is kind of funny though with Rena and One keep on getting and losing magical axes. And so Raven takes one of One's magical axes to give to Rena and to take it back later.
Well, Rena does have her new magical axe also, right? Because she just got it. I
Mhm.
don't think she lost it. So
Yeah, she hasn't lost that one yet. Fingers crossed. Wait for it goes.
yeah, we'll see. One may have two axes now. So
Yeah. It's like Rachel just goes, shit, I've hit my head. Which axe was it again? Oh no, I'll just take both.
yeah, this is that terrorist Rena, right? The one who always kills at somebody. Hey, how about we just switch axes? This one's a real good axe. That would be interesting.
We had the chat with Mog as well,
Yes.
in which interesting ritual was proposed where if they can surround the spectres and the spectres don't move anywhere, they can potentially pull them through the point of origin back to where they're supposed to go. It's just if they fuck up the ritual, there's going to be a big asshole where everything can pour out of again. So there's the choice of either stick with the metal plan, which is going to take months, or we can use the ritual, which will probably take weeks or days. Do we want to do the time thing, or wait, time's messed up? Wait, no, or they could do both.
yeah.
They could do both. Get in the orb so they have weapons so they can pull the ritual off, and if the ritual fails, they can fight them. Potentially, assuming they don't get overwhelmed in numbers.
He doesn't really know what happens when the ritual backfires that badly. Like 100-person ritual backfires that badly, because the barren lands usually they only do have like a couple of people do it. I think he's saying.
Mm.
So having that kind of having that kind of backlash in the middle of a deer is gonna be
Directly in the middle of a deer, too. Yeah.
Yep.
We also met Jake's new character.
Yeah, I loved Craw's intro so much. I loved it when he came in. I was like, "Oh man, this guy is so cool." it's
It's it's not because it's just a new character. It's because it's a new character and an old character turning up at the same time.
yes. Even before I knew it was the Mog King. It was the way Jake role played the character, just insta put a smile on my face because it was like he was talking to himself, and I you didn't know if he was insane or if he actually had like a spirit in him. I was basically on the edge of my seat, listening to the description, listening to him talk, say the things that he was saying, call out Raven's name with such familiarity.
Mm.
I was like, "Oh, this dude commands a presence." like,
If you pay attention to his name and a name that was brought up in Drowstone as well,
you're right. Yeah.
there's connections there as well too.
Yep.
The rains remain.
This season is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so interesting to see where the season goes because of these developments. So I honestly just can't wait.
Oh yeah, and also we had Mog saying that Jaden's not as unique as we thought. apparently they pop up in the Barrenlands too.
All the time, yeah. I would like to see more of those characters.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them come over to a deer and fuck shit up.
Maybe some can come over to a deer from the Barrenlands as patron characters. And nudge, nudge.
But I think that's going to be it, isn't it?
I believe that's everything we needed to cover.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's anything else, anyone else can put them in any comments on the YouTube side of things or talk about it in the Discord.
That would be great. Get some more conversation going. So that's going to be it for this episode. A couple of shield things. Sometime this week, we're going to be having our first recap episode. It's going to come out after this episode due to its length.
First season recap one, just to be clear, because we've been calling these ones recaps as well. But
You're right. Yeah, it's the Kingmaker season 1 first 3 episodes recap. It's going to come out sometime this episode. It's just going to take a bit longer because of the length of it is a little bit longer than these episodes.
yeah, we're talking about three session zeros, a session one, and a session two. There was a lot to talk about.
Yeah. In the future, they won't be so big or so long.
Hopefully, because ideally we're aiming for less than 2 hours, but we got over 2 hours. So
Yeah. We talk a lot of interesting things. Even if you have kept up with Kingmaker, we have some discussions that we would like to get feedback on, not just for the show, but discussion purposes as well.
yeah,
Okay. So once again, we just want to thank everyone for listening, and thank you for all the support you guys have been showing. This is our third episode, and we've been getting a lot of good reviews. We also want to thank all the cast members. Unfortunately, we didn't get a Thronekeeper episode because of some last minute things, but hey, real life happens. So
and there was still a lot to talk about this episode too. So
yeah. Lastly, just want to thank Daelric for your amazing DM and the creation of this world we are also eager to explore. So
it's definitely been fun.
yeah. I mean, we got 5 seasons of Kingmaker, 4 seasons of Regicide. We're still learning about so much about the world. Throne Keeper's always interesting.
Thronekeeper's on the second season.
Yeah, that'll be it, guys. Have a great week.
Have a good one, you guys.